what it means to be a good woman. There will be many theories about it. But what do I believe about it? A good woman is not the woman who's always agreeable. She is not the woman who smiles when she is hurt, simply because someone expects her to. She is not the woman who sacrifices her dream she has so that everyone around her can remain comfortable. She is not measured by how quietly she suffers, how much she forgives, or how often she puts herself last. I've seen many mothers put themselves last and their family first. Keeping their family first is not the wrong thing. It's the right thing. You love your family, your children, your husband. It's a really loving thing. But why are you keeping yourself last, darling? Do you deserve that? No. You also prioritize yourself. You also think about yourself. Sometimes go to a parlor. Decorate yourself. Sometimes you should go to a parlor and even live for yourself. Sometimes you should go to a shopping mall and shop for yourself. Sometimes you should go to a parlor and even live for yourself. Sometimes you should go to a shopping mall and shop for yourself. Why to keep yourself last, darling? Huh? Never do that. If any mother will be listening to it, I understand your priorities are your children, your husband, and it's really sweet when even I'll become a mother and a wife. Of course, my priorities will be my husband and my children's. But I'm not going to put myself last. I will manage each and everything properly. I'll give time to myself also. So if you're doing that, don't do that. Live for yourself as well. Do what you want as well. Maybe you might be enjoying something. Then whatever you enjoy, please do it. Sometimes you might be enjoying while cooking, playing some song and dancing alone in the kitchen as my mother enjoy it. And she lives her life to the fullest. But even she have kept herself last. I said, my mamala, never do that. You live your life. You don't have to put yourself last just because you have children now, lots of responsibility. This responsibilities never should come as a burden to you, that you have to only put yourself last. And if you don't put yourself last, you never become a bad woman. This is what they think, that they'll become a bad woman. No, nothing like that is there. Prioritizing yourself as well as your family is something you should even do. So why keeping yourself last, huh? A good woman is something much more difficult as well. She's a woman who knows the difference between kindness and weakness. She can have a gentle heart without giving everyone permission to break it. She can love deeply without losing herself inside another person. She can forgive without reopening a door that should remain closed. And she can walk away without becoming cruel. There is a certain dignity in a woman who does not need to announce her goodness. She simply lives it. She keeps her word. She does not humiliate people to make herself feel powerful. No, 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 no. She does not turn another person's vulnerability into entertainment. She does not destroy someone simply because she has discovered their weakness. She understands that everyone carries something invisible. The proud man may be frightened, the difficult woman may be exhausted, the quiet person may be carrying a grief nobody knows about. So she learns to be careful with people, not because she is naive, because she has enough wisdom to understand that cruelty is easy. Compassion requires strength. But being a good woman does not mean being endlessly forgiving. There comes a time when forgiveness must become distance. There comes a time when love must become silence. There comes a time when a woman must look at someone she was in a relationship and say, without hatred, I cannot allow you to hurt me anymore. That is not bitterness, that is self respect. A good woman knows that her heart is precious. She does not give it to everyone who asks for it. She does not confuse attention with affection. She does not mistake possession for love. She does not believe that suffering proves the depth of her feelings. Love should not require a woman to become smaller. The right love will not ask her to abandon her intelligence, her ambitions, her voice, or the person she was before she met someone. Also, a good woman always respect man. Humiliating a man doesn't make you a good woman. Being really gentle even with a man is what makes you a good woman. Understanding them. If they make mistake, be mature enough to understand, yes, there was a mistake happened, but it's fine. Depends on what mistake it is, of course. But humiliating or making them feel low is not what I see what makes a woman a good woman. She does not believe a woman should be able to love and still remain herself. Perhaps that is one of the most difficult things to learn. We are taught from childhood to be good girls, be polite, be quiet, be accommodating, do not speak too loudly, do not want too much, do not disappoint anyone. But eventually, a woman must learn another lesson. Being good does not mean being obedient to everyone. Sometimes goodness requires saying no. Sometimes goodness requires telling the truth when a lie would be easier. Sometimes goodness requires leaving a room where everyone else has decided to remain silent. Sometimes the most honest thing a woman can do is refuse to participate in her own unhappiness. A good woman does not spend her entire life trying to prove that she deserves love. She understands that she does not have to perform perfection to be worthy of it. She will make mistakes, she will say the wrong things, yeah. She will trust the wrong person, she will have days when she might be selfish, frightened, angry, confused, or lost. That does not make her a bad woman. It makes her human. What matters is whether she has the courage to look at herself honestly, to say, I was wrong, I hurt you, I should have known better, and then to change. There is a great beauty in a woman who can admit her mistakes without destroying her own dignity. Sometimes we are not a perfect version of ourselves. Nobody is. But when you make mistakes, when you know you make mistakes, after you make mistakes, having a courage to own it honestly and go to the person and apologize without making them humiliated, without thinking that it will destroy my ego, or without putting a ego in between. That what makes a woman a woman. A woman is supposed to be very calm, very soft. That what makes a woman a woman. A woman is supposed to be very calm, very soft. That what makes a woman a woman. A woman is supposed to be very calm, very soft, very kind. But now everyone have made their own terms. I'm not saying being kind to the people who have disrespected and being strong. Being kind to the people, only to the people who respected her, and very opinionated to the people who have not respected her. There where the dignity comes. But respecting even the male gender equally. A right woman is the woman who knows how to make a man secure. I'm not saying if your man is insecure about small things, then you are the problem as a woman. No. Then of course he is the problem but you might need to understand him also instead of getting angry or leaving him and going. That's very easy to do. But staying and making the person understand and realize. And even a woman gets insecure, that is them being human. But if something bothers any individual, they should be sitting beside them and making them realize that I understand. You don't like it. But you need to know that I genuinely love you and you need to trust me. And you should also stay with the trust. She does not need to pretend she is perfect. She only needs to remain sincere. A good woman also knows how to be alone. She does not regard solitude as punishment. She can sit in a quiet room with her own thoughts. She can drink her coffee without needing someone to validate her existence. She can walk through a beautiful city and enjoy it without immediately wondering who is watching. She can dress beautifully for herself. She can become ambitious for herself. She can build a life that does not collapse when someone leaves it. Because she understands something important. A woman should be a whole person before she becomes someone's partner. She should love herself, then only she can love anyone. And when she loves someone, she does not love them from emptiness. She loves them from abundance. That is a different kind of love. Understanding your husband's Sometimes they might make silly mistakes, sometimes you might make silly mistakes, even if a man is listening to it. Women are very soft, sometimes immature as well. They make silly mistakes. Understand them. Always think them, even if you are younger than her. As my man is younger than me, I keep making sometimes mistakes. Silly mistakes, not big mistakes, of course. But he always understands that, okay. He makes me understand, even when I'm older than him. And sometimes when he makes mistake, I make him understand. That is how a relationship works. If he's insecure of something, I don't get angry on him, or I don't put my ego in between, making him understand and realize that trust should always be there. And then eventually he believes in whatever I say because he knows me. And I also don't cross the boundaries. A woman should also understand what boundaries are. Just because a man is open to everything about you, if he's kind enough to tell you that, okay, I accept you anyhow, but you should still know the boundary because that man loves you. That man doesn't show, but he cares, he gets bothered in his heart. So knowing boundaries is really important. That's a mature love, a love with dignity. A good woman is also not afraid of becoming older. The world may teach women to fear the mirror. It may tell them that their value decreases with every year. But a woman's beauty is not supposed to disappear simply because youth does. There is a beauty that belongs to youth, and then there is another beauty that belongs to experience. The young woman may have innocence in her eyes. The older women may have knowledge in hers. One is beautiful, the other is beautiful too. A woman should not spend her life apologizing for time. Let the years come. Embrace it. When I'll get old, I'll embrace each and every year of my life. Let them leave their small marks around your eyes. Let them change your face. Let them deepen your voice. Let them make you wiser. There is no shame in becoming a woman who has lived. And perhaps in the end, that is what being a good woman truly means. Not being perfect, not being universally loved, not being endlessly desirable, not being endlessly available, but respecting everyone, even yourself, your husband, your brother, your parents, and all the family members. Respect is always two ways. Remember that. It means becoming someone whose presence does not require another person's suffering. Someone who can love without possessing, speak without humiliating, live without destroying, forgive without forgetting herself, and stand alone without becoming hard. A good woman can be soft, she can be passionate, she can be ambitious, she can be mysterious, she can be imperfect, she can change her mind, she can begin again, she can say no, She can say yes. She can love. She can leave. She can cry. She can laugh loudly. She can travel alone as well. She can wear the most beautiful dress in the room or sit quietly in an old one. None of these things determine her goodness, darlings. Her character does. And perhaps the most beautiful thing a woman can become is not the women everyone approves of. It is the women who can look into her own eyes and know, I have remained kind without becoming weak. I have remained loving without abandoning myself. I have remained soft without allowing the world to make me small. That is a good woman. Not because she has never been broken, but because everyone, after everything she has survived, she chose not to become cruel. And my role model, because of whom I have these thoughts, I am the way I am. It gets me emotionally whenever I say this. It's my mother. Because of her, because of my mamala, I have this knowledge. In Indian, we call it sanskar. Sanskar means values. And values are not supposed to only kept when people are disrespecting you and you're just keeping your mouth shut. Sometimes having a back or stand for yourself is equally important. But values about living from that environment, from that negativity, and never going back to that people, to those people, is what self-respect is about. My mother is a woman who's full of dignity. She is a good mother, a good wife. Actually, no. She is a brilliant mother, a brilliant wife, and a brilliant daughter, even a brilliant sister, and a pure character which fulfills all of this responsibility. I am who I am only because of the two people. As I've always said, first is my man. He taught me many things which I never learned from my mother as well. Ayust, the most handsome man in this universe, in my eyes, the most seductive man in this universe. And my mamala, the beauty of goodness. And even my man, the beauty of goodness. Goodness is not only the character which you keep in yourself, you learn it. You don't get everything by your own. You learn it, you experience it, and then you realize and become wise in your life. I always wanted to become a wife and a mother like my mamala. Goodness is even when someone brings that inside you, the goodness inside you. That's my time. I love you, mother.